Hello everyone, today I'm going to tell you everything about my gear and accessories. If you don't know me, here is my work. And I'm not sponsored by anyone or anything ever, so I'm gonna be honest with all my reviews. Lots of beginners reach out to me daily, so I will also be talking about the gear I started out with because I think it's super important and I'm still using some of it today. Starting with my very first camera, Canon 1100D, with its kit lens 80 to 55mm. My father got me this secondhand back in 2016 and it was around $200 and I thought it was the best camera in the world. If you for some reason decide to get this camera, I think it will be probably free because it is so old and there are just much better beginner cameras out there. So is this camera beginner friendly? Absolutely. I was taking photos on auto mode before I knew anything about the settings and I still love some of these photos to this day and even use it for my current videos. I used to shoot only JPEG because I used to edit these photos on a phone or some online web editor, so RAW files would be useless. Later, I did try to shoot RAW files, but the camera was already very slow and old. So if you have a better budget, don't get this camera. It can of course take very good photos during the day because it's a crop sensor and the beginner camera, so at night it would look very noisy, especially after 800 ISO. Video quality? Yeah, forget it. Any smartphone could be better. So next up is 50mm 1.8. It was gifted to me and it was secondhand, so I don't really know its price. It's also kind of dusty inside, so not expensive. So this was my very first lens that was not a kit lens, and after I used it I realized how much of a difference a better lens makes. I really hated using the kit lens after using this one. So about this lens, it has very hard time focusing, so at f1.8 I would just have to pray that something was in focus. But I still took some great photos with it. But for a crop sensor, 50mm was very inconvenient because if I wanted to get a subject into the frame, I had to move very far away. It was very limiting, I could hardly take photos in the buildings. So I'm not a big fan of this lens, but I'm still keeping it as my backup lens just in case anything happens to my current lenses. So if you're not a big fan of the bokeh, you can get this lens instead. My beloved 24mm 2.8 pancake lens. I can't tell you how much of an improvement this was on a crop sensor. I was doing fashion photography back then, so I was finally able to fit the models into the frame and do some low-angle shots as well. It cost me around $70 second-hand. And if you are a beginner and are using a crop sensor, I would highly recommend to get this lens. I would also definitely keep it as my backup lens, but unfortunately it only works with crop sensors, so I had to resell it. Moving on to 75 to 300mm lens, which I found for around $30 to $40, which is so bad. But I am using it to this day with my current camera. I have used this lens for around 6 to 7 years and it's currently showing its death symptoms. It now has hard time focusing when it's on 300mm. This lens, I have taken so many good photos with it, and in general it's a very fun lens because it's telephoto, it's fun. The thing is, if you want to get one good image, you have to take 5 to 10 images and just pray that one photo isn't blurred. The images turn out very flat, they have chromatic aberration, distortion, vignetting, which you have to fix in post-editing. And it has no stabilization, and don't even think of taking photos at night. But for $40, I'll take it. For such price, it's worth it, it's amazing. And lots of images you see on my feed are taken with it. I even use it for professional photo shoots. Moving on to the current gear, Canon 60 Mark II, which I got new as I really wanted to do videography, and it was around $1,200 just the camera body. The thing is, I wanted to switch to Sony, but then I wouldn't be able to afford Sony lenses, so as I had the 50mm and 300mm Canon lenses, I chose to get Canon again. For photos, it's very good. I like its performance, it's fast. I love the flip screen, which is very helpful. It's not heavy, but for the video quality, it was kind of bad. It was advertised differently. It was advertised like a vlogging camera, but still Full HD felt like HD. And if I turned on the stabilization, the quality would get even worse. So I never really filmed anything with it. And that's the reason why I'm doing photo animations. So it's a win, because if I didn't get this camera, I might have not discovered this style. So in conclusion, I would not recommend this camera. I think in this price range, or if you add a few $100s, you can get a much better camera. So I started using Canon 6D Mark II with 50mm lens on photoshoots, and I realized that the problem was not in my older camera, the focusing problem was with 50mm. I was also done with prime lenses because I hated being limited to just one focal length. After some research, I found Tamron 24-70 2.8 first version with stabilization. It cost around $400 second hand, and basically this was around time when I was thinking about photography professionally, and it's around the same time I started night photography and photo animations. I loved this lens a lot. The stabilization was working great. I could lower my shutter speed and shoot at f4 to 5 at night. That's why my images were so sharp. And the 24-70mm is just so versatile. I could shoot anything I needed with it. But shortly after I got it, it developed some issues with my camera. For example, I would leave a battery in my camera overnight with this lens on, and the battery next day would be completely drained. This never really happened with other lenses. Plus, it's Canon DSLR, the battery takes long to drain. Soon after, some errors would pop up mid-shooting. I had to take the lens on and off to fix it, and then it would just stop focusing at all. Then I used this lens on other cameras. I had to rent 5D Mark IV for a few different projects 2 times, and I have used this lens on both of those cameras, and it worked perfectly. No issues at all, fast focus, stabilization worked amazingly, and yeah, it performed very well. So that's how I realized that this lens was just incompatible with my camera. So even though I really loved that lens, I had to let it go. But I couldn't let the 24-70mm go, so I got the Canon one. I got Canon's 24-70mm first version. It's almost the same as Tamron, but it doesn't have stabilization and is kind of overpriced. I got this for $450 second hand, and it had a dent right here which I had to fix recently. So I think this one survived a fall, and that's why it cost almost the same as the Tamron, but it's usually more expensive. I don't really have any complaints about this lens, I just really miss the stabilization that Tamron had. So yeah, that's really it. I'm currently using Canon 6D Mark II with 24-70mm and 75-300mm lenses. I'm not really a gear nerd, so when you get a camera, please do a better research than I did. But now you're probably wondering, what do I film my videos with? So as I was disappointed in my camera video quality, after some time I discovered Samsung smartphones. Yes, I come from a Team Android family, and I got Samsung A52s, which was around $400, and I loved it. I'll put the videos I shot with it on the screen. So the video quality was very good on 1x, and whenever I posted a video taken with it, people always were like, which camera is it? So it's a great compliment for an average smartphone. I will also share some photos I took with it. In general, I really liked it, but at night it was quite slow. But of course, as time went on, I wanted to improve quality and I wanted to start YouTube. I was not able to afford Sony cameras, so what's a better camera than S23 Ultra? I got it secondhand for $700, and I'm currently recording with it. And this is not even its maximum capabilities, this is Full HD portrait mode, and the selfie camera, and I think it looks great. So I'm filming all my YouTube videos with it and post some of it on Instagram too. I shoot videos with 1x, 3x and 10x lenses, and all of them are great. I also have a video posted on my channel if you want to check how it looks. I also feel like I could do better. For some reason I'm procrastinating to explore all those settings. But yeah, I think I'm currently very happy with it, so I don't have any complaints about this. I love the video quality and I love the photo quality, but for photos I only shoot JPEG because I don't really have so much storage space, and I just want my smartphone photography to be quick and simple, just one click and here we go. But I of course use the Pro mode to get the best quality possible. I shoot with 1x, 3x, 10x, I use all the lenses and they all look great. And now quickly about the accessories. Starting with the flash. Is it part of the gear or an accessory? Because I barely use it, I'm not a big fan of flashes. I got this one for $30 secondhand, and yeah, I don't have any comments about it, it just flashes. I also have this reflector, and they're super cheap and so useful. They kind of transform the images, especially if you are doing photo shoots. I would highly recommend to get it because it's going to be a lifesaver at daylight shootings. You're definitely going to need another person to hold it or get a tripod for it. But there are different sizes, so you can get any that you like. It has gold, silver, white and black, and it just transforms the image and helps you with lighting up the shadows and reflecting lights. They're super cheap and they help me so much on my professional shootings. This is my tripod, which is a very standard one. You can find it anywhere, not too heavy and does its job. But I'm planning to sell it because I really needed a tripod with an overhead stick. So I upgraded to this one, which in general is better, heavier, steadier and more versatile. This is just a simple phone tripod, selfie stick. For the lights I have this one with its own tripod. They're not super expensive, around $50 to $60. It's RGB and has white light as well, cold and warm tones. I also have this one, which was a DIY by my husband, and it only has colored lights. Plus a sunset lamp because it looks cool and costs like $15. For camera bags, I have this Lexar fancy bag. I hope I'm saying it correctly. This was my very first actual photography related collaboration and I really love this bag, but I only use it for some fancy events because I don't want to ruin it. I use this regular camera bag, nothing special about it, it just survives mud, sitting on pavements, rain, walking over it. It's just here to get bullied all the time. So I use Canon 6D Mark II for work and photo animations, and I use S23 Ultra for videos and my story posts on Instagram. And that's it, that's all my gear and accessories. Hi from future. So while I was editing this video, my husband applied and got a job as a full-time photographer. And we needed a second and a better camera. So a loan later, here is our new baby. Sony a7 IV with Tamron 28 to 75mm. The lens was around $900 secondhand and Sony was $2200 secondhand also. About the review, I can't tell you anything about it yet because we just got it, and to experience it fully we have to get a better SD card. But anyways, I think everyone who's heard of this camera knows that it's really good, so we'll see. But of course I will still be using S23 Ultra for everyday things and YouTube, and I will still be using Canon 6D Mark II as my main camera, as my husband is going to need Sony more often. So I'm not saying goodbye to Canon yet. Wish us luck. I really hope this video was informative, and if you're a beginner watching me, you know that you don't have to start big and you can work your way through it just like me, because I'm also a human being and every expensive thing I mentioned was either bought with savings or bank loans. Also, if you want to know more about my journey of how I started out, or if you want to see my very first photos even before I had a camera, you can let me know in the comments and I will make a video about it. Thank you for watching. Bye!